Hi everyone, and welcome to the first in our how-to series on how to back up your computer. Now there's the subject of backup is a far-reaching one, and there's all different types of backups and all different types of computers, so I'm going to have to narrow this down to kind of a common denominator. So that being said, what I'm going to be covering today is how to back up a single Windows 7 Professional computer. It's going to be pretty well the same thing for Windows XP or Windows Vista. Windows 8 is going to be a little bit different in how everything looks, but you know, the general concept is probably the same. So I've got my single computer, and this is geared more towards the home user who just has one computer, and you just have your documents and your photos and videos and music all saved onto one single computer, and that's all you have. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to go out and purchase a USB hard drive. And what that is it's an external hard drive that connects to your computer using a USB cable. And if you don't have one of these already, give us a call, and we can hook you up with a device that works well for you. But for this demonstration, I'm going to be using a 150 gigabyte MacStor OneTouch 4 Mini USB drive. I've already installed the software that came with the drive. I've installed it on my computer. So I've got this little MacStor icon. You can't see it, but this little icon down in the system tray. So to start off, we need to open up the software that comes with the drive. And again, this is going to be similar idea depending on what kind of drive you have. Most of them come with their own little backup utility that works reasonably well. So first thing we want to do is we want to start up the backup. Now you can see from this that I can do just a single backup, just a regular simple backup. I can customize my own backup, and I can delete any previous backup plans I might have created. So one thing, I'm usually more of a custom person, so whenever I can, I usually click on advanced or custom, so I'm going to do that. And here's the starting of a backup plan. I'm going to call the backup Nightly Backup, because I'm going to schedule this to run every night. Now here in the bottom part, you can see this. I can select different folders that I want to back up. A lot of these software packages, these little backup utilities, have a little bit of a limitation in what you can actually select to be backed up. This little drive does have that limitation in that I can only choose certain folders on the C drive. So there's one folder in particular that I might need to go into on the hard drive, depending on where I've set up my software to store its files. So here's an example. Let's say you have Windows or Microsoft Office, say 2003 version, and you've set it up for your email. Now that version of Outlook, usually by default, I've opened up Windows Explorer here, and I'm going to drill down into my C drive, in the users folder, my profile. Now this folder here might not be visible to you, so let's do a couple of things to set up your system so that'll make it easier for you. So first of all, I'm going to go into folder options. Lots of different ways to get there, but if we click on start and type in folder, wait for a bit while it searches, and you can see folder options at the top. So click on the View tab, and I'm going to not hide file extensions, number one, and I'm going to show hidden files and certain types of folders. So go ahead and click apply on that and OK. And now in this location, in C, users, my profile, you can see a new folder. You might have to refresh, so right click on a blank spot, click refresh. Now you can see a folder called app data. Now this is Windows wants to hide this, so that's why we had to go through that folder option exercise. But now in app data, under local, Microsoft, and Outlook. This is the location where Outlook will store your email file. And by that I mean it's a single file that holds all of your email, your contacts, your calendar appointments, any tasks you've created, any notes you've created, basically everything in your Outlook into one file, and it saves that here. Now as you can see, I can't see the C users folder. So I'm not, if my Outlook file is right here, I'm not going to be able to select it to be backed up, and that's a problem. So what you're going to have to do, and hopefully you know how to do this, and if not, then give me a call and I can help you out with this. But you're going to have to move your email file into a folder that your backup routine, your backup software is going to be able to see. And usually these backup utilities like what's called your personal folder or your My Documents. So here's the Documents folder, and that corresponds to this folder right here, My Documents. Okay? So as you can see, it's got all the same folders as over here. Now I've set my Outlook up to store files in the My Documents folder in a subfolder I created called Outlook Files. And inside there's what's called a PST file. And that's the main file for Outlook. Now if you use if you have Windows XP and you use Outlook Express, that's a whole different monster. That stores by default, stores the file way down inside, I believe it's roaming identities, and then it'll be in here. So what you're going to want to do with that is to go into your Outlook Express and change your store folder. And you can actually in Outlook Express, it'll let you move it into another folder of your own choosing. So I would suggest in your My Documents, right click, say new folder, and call it My Email or whatever you want to call it, and then go into your Outlook Express, set up this My Email to be your store folder, and then that'll move all of your email files into this folder, and then you'll be able to back it up with this utility. So that's email. There are other things that you other things in those folders that you can't see that you might want to back up, in which case you're going to have to move them into a location that your backup program can see. So assuming that's all been done and everything is underneath this personal folder now, so somewhere within here, then we can go ahead and start selecting what we're going to back up. So first of all, this contacts folder, you don't have to worry about that. The system puts that there, and on a new computer you'll have that in there as well. So there's nothing really to restore. This desktop folder corresponds to your actual desktop. So this space here on your desktop, if you've got folders that are sitting in here, or maybe this is a temporary location where you do your work and then you save it somewhere else once it's completed, you're still probably going to want to back up whatever is in here. right now I'm for this presentation I've got all my icons hidden, so I do have a whole bunch of icons here, and some of it folders that contain documents. So I would want to back up my desktop folder. Next, I want to back up the My Documents folder, because that's usually where I keep everything. At least I try to. Then this Downloads folder is where Internet Explorer by default and Google Chrome, Firefox, when you download a file, it puts it into this Downloads folder. So if that's the only location for all of the things that you've downloaded in the past and you want to save all of those files, then go ahead and select the Downloads folder. Favorites is the Internet favorites, the bookmarks that you might have saved throughout the years. As you can see, I've got all kinds that I've saved. So I can go ahead and select that folder. Links is a system folder. Don't really need to worry about that. Music. I have lots of music saved on my computer, so I'm going to select my music folder. The same as pictures. I've got lots of photos and whatnot. This roaming folder, again, it's another system folder. You don't need to back that up. Saved games. Now, unless you play Microsoft games and you save them all, then you don't have to worry about that. But if you do, go ahead and select that. These others are, again, system folders. Nothing in there that I save, nothing that I need restored, so don't need to select those. And finally, I have a videos folder, which contains all the videos that I've saved over the years. So we're gonna want to select that. Now, first of all, just for this illustration, I'm going to put a file into my Documents folder. And let's say this is a file that's you know, a Word document or a picture or a video, maybe even an MP3 file that I want to save. But what we're going to do is I'm actually, after the backups run, I'm going to delete that file to show you how to do a restore. So for now, I'll move that into here, and we should be able to go now with the backup. So we select our folders. There's nothing else on the C drive that we need to back up. If there is, go ahead and select it here, and then click Next. Now we're going to want to back up all file types, not just music and photos. And by file types, what I mean is all of these little what are called file extensions. Now you might not be able to see the file extension, such as .txt, if you're not showing your file extensions. Now to do so, all you need to do is, from here you can go to Tools, to Folder Options, or like how I did before, just type in Folder, and go into your Folder Options. Click on the View tab, and you want to make sure that this checkbox here is unchecked so that it doesn't hide your file extensions. And then you'll be able to see .txt or .rdp or whatever the file extension is behind that file. So, having said that, if you just want to back up, say, just photos, then you would, or anything with these file extensions, then you just choose your photos. The same thing for music files, videos, documents. So it's a way to kind of filter out some of the other files that you might not need to back up. But for the most part, that takes a little bit of know-how, and it's probably getting a little bit more granular than what we need to do. So we're going to choose all file types. We're going to back up everything in those folders that we selected. So we'll go ahead and click Next. And now I can set up a schedule for this backup plan, the nightly backup. And I'm going to select to back up every single day. And I'm going to make it at a time when I'm not using my computer. The reason being is that if I'm using my computer while it's doing a backup, there could be some files that I might actually have in use. and in which case those won't get backed up because they are in use. So choose a time where you're not going to be bothered. Your computer is going to, you're going to have to leave your computer on, and then you'll have the greatest success at a backup. So I've set it for 2 a.m. every night, and now I click finish, and you can see that my scheduled backup is turned on. So I can go ahead and I can test this, and I can back it up right now. It'll run the full backup, and then it'll continue on. It'll do it again tonight at 2 a.m. and then each additional night at 2 a.m. But this is a good way to test whether the backup settings that we've set are going to work, and we want to know whether this is going to be successful before we just kind of forget it and let it do its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and click backup now, but first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back just so that make this a little bit faster. You're not going to, just ignore this part. I'm going to deselect. I don't need to back up all of this for our demonstration. So I'm just going to back up the My Documents folder, which has all of these folders in it. So next, so scheduled, finish. Okay, so I'm going to hit backup now, and off it goes. And it started backing up all the files in my Documents folder. Now I'll pause this video and I'll come back when it's all done. Okay, so we're back, and as you can see, the backup is complete and our test backup is successful. So we know now that our scheduled backup, which is going to be running every night, is going to happen without any issues. Now, the handy thing about having a USB drive to do a backup on is in the case of an emergency. Let's say for some reason you have to bolt from your house. Let's say it's on fire and you have just 10 seconds to grab all of your data. So all you need to do is go to your computer, and hopefully it's close to a door that you can go out of. But all you need to do is you just need to unplug that USB drive. Okay, grab that drive, out you go. Then you've got a copy of all of your backed up data, and you are now able to, when you get back up on your feet, get a new computer, then you can restore this data that you've backed up onto whatever new computer you might have. So in order to do that, and here's really the reason why we do backups, is to do a restore. So we are going to do a restore of a file. So here's our test file. It's in the My Documents folder. And let's say I'm working on this, and I'm typing, yada yada yada, and it's saved. And all this was done before the backup. So now let's say I was just about to start it up again, and I said delete and yes when I actually meant no. And then I went further and I deleted it from the recycle bin, and the file is gone. So what do? Well, luckily that file was in one of the locations that we chose to back up. So I'm going to click on Restore Files here. Going to restore a version, and this is where you can then drill down and select versions from all the backed up files. And as you can see, this new text document was the one that I've deleted. Okay, so it's not in My Documents anymore. So I want to restore it. In this case, I can choose a temporary location in case I want to maybe restore it somewhere and then move it into the folder I want. Or you can select the original location. And in this case, I want to restore it to the original location where it was. So we can go ahead and do that and click Restore. And bingo bango bongo, it's all done. Okay, and as you can see, the text document is back there. So that is how to do a simple backup and restore using an external USB drive on your Windows 7 computer. If you have any questions, feel free to give me an email, give me a call, and I can help you set yours up. I can help you purchase a USB drive, or if you want to get into more advanced ways of backing up, then I can help you with that too. So until next time, this is Kalen Slezash signing off with our Caltech Solutions How-To series on how to back up your computer. Bye for now.